I don't know how to do that yet. I don't know if that's going to work. It could all come crumbling down. All right, so we are out at the hunting stand. Every year I come out here and I look at it and I think, okay, I got to fix something before hunting season. Normally it's not that big of a deal. Normally it's just one of these supports is off and I got to fix it. But this year I noticed, if you can see those screws that are not attached to anything, those screws used to be in the tree, and that support is doing absolutely nothing. Now this is my fault. When I built this thing 6 years ago, I just attached it to the trees and I just said it was good. But it's not good anymore. I've got ratchet straps holding it together and it's falling apart, sliding off of the tree. So what we're going to do is we're going to eliminate the tree aspect from this build, and we're just going to run and do new posts and set those and stabilize it. Let's get dusty.
What I'm doing here is I'm using a plumb bob. Now I'm going to every single corner using this plumb bob to tell me exactly where I need to dig my holes to put all of my 4 posts in.
At one point that was a tree in the ground that was supporting this thing. So I'm up here setting the plumb bob in this corner, right, for the new post, and I couldn't help but notice behind me here, if you look, all that was attached to the tree at one point. So you can see that it actually slid over. This is a 4x4 post here, so it slid over 3 inches away from the tree. They were also in the center of the tree over here, so it's moved another 4 inches. And that's why I'm out in the middle of the woods in early September trying to redo this. So normally I'd like to do this in August, but because I had shoulder surgery and it was like 90 degrees, I got out a little late. So if this messes up the stand for the year, I guess it messes up the stand for the year. But all right, plumb bob up, dig some more holes. So all 4 posts are in, and if you know anything about me, you know I struggle with setting posts. So I only had to redig 2 of them. Not too bad. But now the problem is I can't figure out, because I have the supports that run diagonally, how I'm going to support this that I can then take off the old supports without the whole thing crumbling. I don't know how to do that yet. The only thing I can think of is just starting in the back and making supports there. Okay, here is the plan. These 2 right here, right? I'm going to temporarily secure them to the side of the blind there. Do some X bracing, try to stable those up as much as possible. Therefore, this side will have basically the tree and the 2 beams holding this side up. Now this corner over here where the ladder is, that ladder actually rests basically right there. I almost thought about using that as a support generally, so that's already secured there. So I'll have 3 corners supported. The problem is this last corner right here, all the bracing and everything, I can't do anything with until it's gone. So I think if I brace up the other 3 sides, I can remove all that bracing and hopefully it doesn't collapse until I can get that side braced up. I don't know if that's going to work. It could all come crumbling down once I remove that back bracing. But if it does, it should just fall into the tree, which should still suck. I'm going to start by removing the ratchet straps, and then we will start removing one piece at a time, and we are going to see if it falls or if I get hurt. So ratchet straps and that board coming out. I'm going to cut on this side because that way I'm not underneath it. It didn't fall. It definitely shifted, but it didn't fall. So now all three sides have the X bracing on them. I have the two main header supports up to hold it. So now I'm going to actually just go through. I got some 4.5, 3/8 lag bolts. I'm going to lag bolt those 4 on there, and then I'm going to run 2 more 2x6s underneath to act as like another support there for them. And then I think this thing should be relatively supported. It's still sitting on this back tree just a little bit, but I want to get this thing lagged in before I mess with that. So I was just cutting this up here. You can see where the Sawzall blade is. That's what this side is resting on. It's attached to that tree. As I'm cutting it, it pinched, which means that this thing is sagging a little bit. So I'm gonna try to pound that down, and hopefully this thing stays up. And that is gonna do it for the end of day 1. We got all this secured up. The only place that it is still holding onto the tree, 4x4 right there, just that little bit. I'm gonna leave that for right now. I will notch that out later on, but for right now, that's basically all the structure that I needed to make sure that I could just leave it for the night. So we're gonna leave it here. See you guys on day 2. Alright, welcome to day 2. Now, not a lot has to get done structurally here. I think we're pretty much there, a couple boards. But the first thing I'm going to do is that one 4x4 that's on that big tree right there, that's holding that back end up a little bit. I'm going to take my electric chainsaw and I'm going to notch that until I can feel it, let it go. I'm going to use the electric chainsaw because if something happens and I get knocked to the ground, it's better to have the electric chainsaw that when I let go, it shuts off compared to the gas. So I don't think it's gonna be a problem, but you never know. Alright, tree and the blind are now completely separate from each other. The only thing that's holding that thing up is the stilts that I just made. A couple more supports, and we'll move on. Alright, all these supports are now completed. It does have a heck of a wobble. I think it's because I cheaped out and went 4x4s instead of 6x6s. This tree on the side is still right against it, and it hits it, and when I put the new outsiding stuff on there, it's not going to work. So we're actually going to cut that tree down. Alright, so you can see the sun in the background is fading. That's going to be day 2. I didn't record a lot because most of it was just adding supports that I had already been adding. Having a day job kind of gets in the way of, you know, getting other stuff done. So, but it's still pretty wiggly. I did try to mount it to this tree in a couple of spots down on the lower part of the trunk. I figured that wouldn't move as much. Didn't really help a whole lot. It's not wiggling up at the top. The top is very sturdy. It's down at the ground where it's wiggling. I tried to go 2 feet deep in all the holes. This one over here, I wasn't able to go 2 feet because it's right next there and there's a ginormous root there. I got a idea on how to tighten that up. We did get this tree dropped. That was kind of sketchy up there by myself out in the woods with the chainsaw, especially when I got hung up in the tree. So tomorrow, or not, day 3, we're going to make that thing pretty on the outside, and then we'll wrap this project up. I'll see you guys on day 3. Okay, day 3. Now the plan is to pretty that all up. So if you come up on the back side of it, you can kind of see, if I can get far enough away, you can see that the tar paper that I wrapped this stuff up in has came off around the tree, starting to get kind of a little rotted up in that corner, and the same over on this side. So the idea is that I'm going to redo that. I'm going to put some Tyvek paper down and then rewrap it with roofing material, and we'll call it good. Before we do that though, I'm going to try one last ditch effort to stabilize this thing up a little bit at that base. So the plan was to take these T-posts that were 5.5 feet, drive them into the ground, and one on each side of the post like this, and then wire them together to help give that rigidity on the bottom. It helped a little, but not a whole lot. I think I need some thicker wire. That would probably really help. Like I said, it helped a little, not an insane amount, but I'm not worried about the thing falling anymore. I'm just trying to not get seasick when it's windy. So it's stable, just a little swayy. But now we can move on to prettying her up. That's a bug. Holy smoky dokies. Oh my gosh, all over me. Help! Oh my gosh. Wowzers, oh, it's on my arm. I can't do anything about it. Get off. Oh my god. Dang it. Ah. What do? I don't know. I'm scared. It's crawling on my legs. There's ants everywhere. Don't give up. Be strong. Where are you? You're right here. That was exciting. In case you couldn't see that, there was a colony of ants. I gotta pull myself off of the house for a minute. Get that down. Moss everywhere. Just everywhere. Alright, I'm gonna try to tuck under that. It's like on my head. I can't. Oh gosh, this is awful. Okay, I thought that'd be a cool shot up here like this. That was sketchy. You see? He took the ride down. So I think the plan is going to be to lay some of this Tyvek out on the ground, cut a section, and then go up in the air and slap staple it, trim it up there. I also didn't remember a tape measure out here, So that should do it. All right, the Tyvek is all up and not the super prettiest job, but it's up. So now what we gotta do is go back through and put some tar paper down. And hopefully we can button this thing up tonight because the sun's already going down. And I wanna get this thing done. So that's going to wrap up day 3. I ran out of tar paper. Why did I think that partial roll of tar paper that I've had laying around for years would be enough? I don't know. Why did I think that I could do this in one day? Questions are, I don't even know. But we've got the tar paper up on one side over here, and the whole thing has been Tyvek wrapped. I won't bore you with the rest of the putting the stuff up, so I'll just give you some nice B-roll of what it looks like when I'm done, and then I'll meet you on the other side of the B-roll. We did it. We saved the hunting blind. Now, is it as level as it was when I first did it? No. Now, will all of the tar paper protect it forever? Absolutely not. Eventually, this blind will probably get rebuilt, but for right now, this is going to buy me a few more years. You can see I laid those vertical boards on there, and that's going to help hold that tar paper on, because one of the big problems with the tar paper would blew off and then all the OSB got all wet. And are we stable up here? Shaky, shaky, shaky. Pretty stable. Probably about as stable as it was, but the big thing is that it's safe. I think those posts and those wire ties, once I got them all fitted right, nice and tight, I do think that actually did help quite a bit with support. But that is it for this video. We are safe now. If you're looking at the backdrop here and wondering what's going on, this is actually fake ivy that you get for weddings, and all along here is actually an old Christmas tree that I used. So in case you're curious on that. Thanks for watching. If you're a hunter, good luck this year. I'll see you guys on the next video. Want to see the doggy? Yeah, see? I have to just tear down the whole top part and rebuild, but that's future me problems. Was the dog just pooping in the back of the shot?